lot of chances for bosses to appear out of nowhere and surprise our runners. So we'll have to see how this goes as we are both getting started here. DT start. Oh, they're both going to start at their house, so that doesn't matter.
Oh, wow. That doesn't look vanilla at all.
Yeah, that looks very familiar. Sure we actually got a randomized ROM here? I'm not entirely sure.
Right there, you got a map check. Looks like green pendant, Hera, pendant, desert, and a regular crystal at Eastern.
And I believe we had a green pendant for us, so you know, we do have two pendants in the light world, which if this was just you know, a normal
Yeah, and it looks like we got powder in the secret passage chest. And of course, this is Uncle assured, so we got our sword from the uncle. So that will be our weapon throughout the escape.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And DT just got a bomb drop, so that will be an ensuring. They'll feel pretty sure about getting to the back of escape and be able to check those 3 chests on the left side. So that's really good for DT. We'll hope that Furaime also gets a bomb drop somewhere along the way. Okay, so we got the map there in that boomerang chest, and that means that we will check every last. Anyone in chat want to tell me what Furaime's sprite is? Okay, looks like it's Marissa from Toho, or whatever, however you say that. I'm sorry, I do not know these other sprites that you be talking about. Sorry, guys. Okay, so since we got the map and we got a bunch of other items in these first few chests, we will be seeing a key in the Dark Cross. Wow, DT just got another bomb drop. For Furaime. Ah, there we go. Furaime is in good shape now with that bomb drop from the guard. Okay, so like I said before, there'll be a key in this chest right here. and then there'll be 3 more chests past the bombable wall in a room full of mice and a couple of keys. And that typically is the difference maker in a lot of standard races, because some runners don't get a bomb drop, some do. And then sometimes it may not make a difference at all because there is a chest with bombs in it during escape. But luckily for both runners, they both got bomb drops, and so they're good to go to check every chest in here.
Yeah, and that'll be very good because I always dread that time when the power glove, or at least the first power glove, ends up being in the back here, so then you don't have to walk all the way back through the front to get there.
Yes, and I do believe that the logic does account for the fact, since it's standard mode, the only way to access this back of escape part, looks like I've got 2 heart pieces and bombs, is the only way to access this part is if you have a glove. So that means that there can only be at most 1 glove in the back in those 3 chests right there, for it to be logically accessible. Because if there were both gloves in there and you wasted all your bombs in the first run through escape, you would not be able to get back in there.
Yeah, that is very true. Ooh, get a nice 300 rupee item from the chest in the sanctuary. That'll help them with their early light world expenses.
Yes, good 300 rupees. Malachris in chat, you actually cannot get back to the back of escape through the normal way, like through the standard run, because that gate, that passageway behind the throne is closed once you finish the escape sequence. So you do need the glove to get to the back way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thankfully in Randomizer they kind of altered that so you can just walk through the beginning to account for logic changes of that nature.
Some of you might be wondering, why did we not see a bunch of random enemies in Escape? Well, since this is standard mode, they cannot really randomize the enemies, or else it might be impossible for them to get through the escape sequence. As we see some bombs there on Lumberjack Ledge.
Yeah, for the standard Randomizer, it's just going to be the bosses, at least for this tournament, as far as this tournament is concerned. I think they are working on something to kind of make it so escape can't be as brutal as it could be, but for this tournament, because we're going to be trying to be consistent with the settings throughout the entire thing, they're going to just be shuffling the bosses for the standard mode.
DT opting not to pick up those bombs there in the forest. I definitely would have picked those up just in case you didn't find any more before finishing your Kakariko run.
Probably feels confident that he might be able to find some along the way. They are definitely a lot more common in this version of logic, since a lot of the 3 bomb chests were added back into the pool of items.
Nothing but a bunch of love in Blind's hut, and what else do we got here in this back chest? Just some money.
Well, hey, at this point, I mean, they just find another 300 and they pretty much have Zora taken care of, so it's not too bad to find money at this stage, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. And hearts in this case, they're not bad to find in hard. I mean, it's not the worst mode. I have tried the hard seed before. They're not that terrible. Flippers in the, well, nice. But yeah, hearts are certainly welcome in this case.
Yeah, you won't be getting a full 2 bars for sure, but you'll still be getting like almost half of the second bar, which is, not too bad. I generally like to think that once I get that first row completed, the rest of the seed shouldn't be too bad.
And seeing as we already have our mail upgrade for the entire seed, we're probably not going to be picking up many more hearts that we see along the way.
Yeah, that's true. These runners are definitely experienced. I could definitely see them getting through the rest of the game at this heart level. And we did find the power glove here inside the chicken hut, so that's going to be our first Dark World item.
Yes, and we are a hammer and hammer slash another glove, and a moon pearl away from Dark World access. And in this case, since we had the flippers, if we do end up finding the mitts, then we don't have to worry about Aghanim just yet. Even though this is an all dungeon seed, yeah, Aghanim will not be our main Dark World access unless if we find another glove or the hammer.
Yeah, it could always happen for sure, and in all dungeons it's not too bad if it does happen because you have to beat Aga Tower anyway, but a lot of runners do like to save that for their very last dungeon because it's literally just a mirror away from the pyramid.
Looks like Furaime is going to YOLO the race game, not checking what it has before doing the race game.
Fortunately, just a blue rupee, but gonna pick it up anyway. I may as well. Still need some cash. May as well pick it up.
Yeah, to each their own. And also, it looks like we just had a red rupee in the library. So, well, where is Furaime going to go next? Oh, where are they going? They're going straight to Death Mountain?
Well, it is available. They can't do a whole lot up there, but that's sometimes if you happen to get the hookshot or mirror up there, that could be a early advantage. So I can understand it.
Oh, the crab bush is having 4 bomb drops for us today. Wow, that's really, really generous.
I wonder if DT saw that, and because of that, it's going to be using that as his... Oh, no, he did go buy bombs, though, so never mind. I guess he didn't see that.
Really, all Furaime can do right now in Death Mountain is get the Old Man item, the Spectacle Rock item, and check the Spectacle Rock item on top of it.
And there is also the hint inside Spectacle Rock as well. Can also get some intel about what could be placed somewhere in the seed, or it could just be a random Zelda 1 hint for all we know. But, it definitely gives an extra incentive to coming up here and checking these items early, because you could get some valuable information. Ooh, unfortunately that's information we already had, so not going to be super valuable there.
Okay, I missed what was in Mini Moldorm Cave. Did we find anything important?
No, just a lot of rupees, and we have enough to potentially clear out the Zora area now too, so that's probably what DT is thinking now. Going to be checking the island first. Looked like it was just a red rupee, and now he's going to check the hobo. And it looks like Furaime is probably going to be following suit, making the same checks as DT here.
Hey!
Ooh! Well, there's that other glove upgrade he talked about, so we are literally just a moon pearl away from Dark World now.
Yeah, of course, the mitts by themselves don't open anything up just yet. They need a moon pearl or boots or something like that to really be useful, but not right now.
Anyway, I'm gonna see what's inside the Ice Rod Cave next.
Just some sticks.
So yeah, with all those being checked, it looks like we're going to be heading over to the Zora area next. We have 2 items inside the Waterfall Fairy Cave. We have 1 on the Zora Ledge, and we also have Zora himself. Both of our runners have over 500 rupees, so they should be able to get everything with no problem.
Oh! Ooh. There are our boots! So like I said, the mitts aren't useful by themselves, but with something like the boots or the Moon Pearl, they do have some use. Now we can check the King's Tomb.
Looks like we just have a vanilla piece of heart on the Zora Ledge, and now we just have to pay the 500 rupees for King Zora and his item. But yeah, you know, I would be, with both of these finds, mitts and the boots, I would be tempted to check King's Tomb immediately, because if that's progression, it's like, okay, well, here's this next sphere of logic that we can take a look at.
And Zora giving us a scam, as usual.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Alright, so, but also the boots not only just unlock King's Tomb with the mitts, but by themselves they also open up Bonk Rocks, which DT will probably also check while checking King's Tomb.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, just a blue rupee for the King's Tomb item.
The king died poor.
That or he just is hiding his fortune somewhere else, because, you know, that would be the obvious place to look inside the royal tomb.
And what do we have here in Bonk Rocks today?
Ooh, hello, Bo.
So now with that, we can fully complete Eastern Palace.
Yes, we can, and, you know, I have a feeling DT might consider that play. Before he does, though, he is going to be going down here to check Sick Kid, because we did also get a bottle inside the Waterfall Fairy Cave. So we're going to see what this is first.
With his last dying breath, the Sick Kid gives us a sword!
And you know, Aga Tower is now in access with that.
So it looks like the Moon Pearl is our missing link here. Of course, the Moon Pearl will just grant us Dark World access, and we won't have to worry about Aghanim until after we beat Gan's Tower.
But there is a possibility for that Moon Pearl to be on the Pyramid Ledge, which would be after beating Aghanim, so that is probably something our runners could consider once they finish up this area and they still don't have the Moon Pearl, assuming it's not here anyway.
And like I said, DT is making the trip into Eastern.
Now, looking at our items right now, there's only a handful of bosses we can actually potentially finish up at this point. If we end up getting something like Trinex, Cold Stare, or Argus or something, we might have to come back later to finish up this place. But if we get, you know, Blind, Armos Knights, Lamnolas, Moldorm, any of those bosses that, you know, don't really require much to beat, we can finish this.
Yes, I guess I misspoke earlier. I did forget this is standard Randomizer, so we may not be able to complete this dungeon. Oh, but hey, we don't have to worry about that, because there's our Moon Pearl. We now have Dark World access.
We do, and we have Dark World through probably the most convenient entrance, the front side of Kakariko through the forest, because you don't have to make that loop around to use the hammer to get it, but... You know, without... Oh, wow, we found some good stuff in Sasha's closet, too.
DT did not check the back of Saha's closet. Let's hope for his sake that he checks that before he leaves this area. because those are pretty important items to find, especially with the mitts being available and the moon pearl, because that will open up all of East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain.
Yes. And this could actually be kind of inconvenient if it ends up being a boss that DT can't beat, because then he might be tempted to save and quits, and therefore he'll definitely be out of range of Sasrala. So we'll have to see what happens.
And depending on where that hammer is going to be found, we cannot complete Palace of Darkness once we enter the Dark World, because we need the hammer to beat it. And if that hammer is locked behind the hookshot or the Cane Samaria, then DT is going to be hurting.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, it looks to me like the final item in Eastern is on the boss. Alright, I want you to give me your predictions, Slim. What do you think the boss will be here at Eastern?
I'm gonna go with Lemnolis, actually. I see Lemnolis here a lot.
Oh boy, if it's Argus, this will really work out for Furaime.
Yeah, that would be probably the worst potential thing for DT if it's Argus at this point.
Okay, here it comes. What'll it be? It is... Oh!
Okay, I do like what DT is doing, though. He is taking the death, so he's going to warp back to the beginning of the dungeon. So he is going to be checking Sasrala before he leaves the area. So he'll get the hookshot and Canis Amari. He'll not be leaving those behind.
Okay, that is very good. Yes, that death warp is very telling of what DT was about to do. So, thankfully for him, he's not missing important stuff.
Right. But yeah, that would have been really frustrating if it was Argus to just, take a death there, grab these items, and find out, oh, if I came here first, I would be able to beat the boss of the dungeon.
Okay, so with that, I do believe that DT might head straight up to Death Mountain and clear most, if not all of it. If we find that hammer up there, we might be able to do even more.
Well, there are definitely two schools of thought there. There are a lot of items on Death Mountain, so that would definitely be a really, really good call to, check those items up there. Although it would be nice to also have the mirror and hammer before going up there, just in case the routing kind of takes you in a very roundabout way. So then you don't have to worry about, potentially, you could do Hera on this trip. Because of right now, we can't get to Hera at this current point in time. And, oh my gosh, So DT's leaving some bombs behind here in, Old Man Cave as a bit of a callback to, I'm guessing, the last race, Game 1.
Did the old man have a key item that DT never picked up?
No, it was a case where the seed they played was an expert Randomizer, open mode, and since he had very few hearts and he came in the room without a lamp, there was just a Lionel or some kind of enemy just bodying him in the dark. And he couldn't see it and couldn't get through the cave, burning his magic from his magic cape in the process. And whenever you die or save and quit and continue, you'll actually start back where the old man is. And as a result, DT kind of had to forfeit because he was unable to get through the room because he couldn't see what he was up against. So kind of an unfortunate loss to take, but he's coming back strong, and he does seem to have a bit of a lead, at least in terms of the progression right now. So we'll see what happens in this seed.
So far, nothing in Paradox Cave. Yeah, nothing important in Paradox Cave. That kind of feels bad. We're kind of getting scammed so far. Yes, with this routing right now, without the hammer, we cannot get to the Dark Death Mountain by way of the Turtle Rock entrance because we do not have the hammer. So Furaime is just going to go to the top and do Spiral Cave and then come back down to this portal near the bottom.
So as I mentioned earlier, one really good thing to find up in here in these caves would probably be the mirror, because that would allow us to stop over at Tower of Hera before we leave the mountain for a bit. But we only have 6 chances to find those items.
Super Bunny Cave not yielding anything to us either. All we got left is Hookshot Cave. I believe that's it.
Yeah, unfortunately, without hammer or mirror, we can't get anything else up here. We do get a map check. It looks like Mire and Ice Palace are other red crystals for this seed, and I believe it was Skull Woods was our other pendants.
Yeah, Skull was the pendant, and we have actually vanilla red crystals. 5 being ice and 6 being mire. And a shovel.
That is true. Oh, looks like we got the Ether Medallion also inside Hookshot Cave. Another heart container. And another bottle.
And Furaime is looking like they're going to check the Turtle Rock Medallion before they leave Death Mountain. Nope, Ether was not the one. It was Bombos.
Yeah, even if we did have hammer, we still couldn't get in there with that medallion, so we'll have to come back to Death Mountain a bit later. Hopefully with the Ice Rod and Fire Rod too, so we can just fully complete everything, but we'll see.
So, it looks like we only had the shovel and Ether on Death Mountain. That's not very good. Especially if the shovel doesn't yield anything to us.
Another fetch quest item. We have the mushroom.
Oh boy.
This will actually be kind of nice for Furaime, though, because the bottle will kind of put in their mind that, okay, I still have to check Sick Kid, and they'll get their Master Sword for that.
And Furaime gets their Master Sword. And they're about to head into the Village of Outcast. Alright, Furaime looking to head into the statue room in Skull Woods. This is made much easier by the fact that we have the Canis Samari to press the switch.
Yeah, it definitely makes that room way less frustrating. And we get the flute inside that room.
Wow. That's a lot of items being thrown at us very, very quickly into the race.
Mm-hmm.
So with that flute, we can now go into the mire area and check all that stuff. We cannot get to desert just yet. We do not have the mirror or the book, but we can check the Meyer shed and also potentially get a look inside Meyer if we have the right medallion.
Yeah, if Meyer is Ether Medallion, then we can actually finish Meyer right now, so that could be a potential dungeon we want to look at as soon as possible.
Barring any Trinex or Cold Stare
Right.
at the back of Meyer.
Yeah, good point, good point.
You're always like, yeah, I can clear this now. And then you get to the back and you're like, wait, oh man, really? You know.
Randomizer. It is definitely fun to see both of our runners just kind of trailing each other's footsteps here. They're really not too far behind. One very specific divergence that leads to something that the other doesn't get could really just kind of change this up big time at this current pace.
Oh, that is required for us to see because we've already seen a Trinex, that Ice Rod, so we need to find the cape at some point.
Yep, so that will add cape into the items we are looking for list.
Of course, it is very nice to know where that is, so it's not trolling us by the end of the seed. But but there's also the possibility that the cape may be ending up trolling us instead.
That's true, yeah. I mean, at least we'll know that we're not going to be getting the cape in Ganon's Tower because Eastern is a crystal. So, you know, we'll at least get it before then. That's always one of those things in all dungeons that can really kind of throw you off. Where it's like, oh yeah, I guess this item could be in Ganon's Tower, and you just start thinking about that possibility. Oh, there's another medallion, the Quake medallion. It's not Bombos, but you know, we could be more covered for Meyer now that we have two of them.
Yeah, so at this point, the only other medallion we need is Bombos, since we know where both the other ones are. Okay, so we just got ourselves our second shield. So at this point, we have the max armor and the max shield upgrade with us.
Yeah, and we still need one more sword upgrade before we have the max sword upgrade.
And there's the silvers. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Now, in hard mode, we won't be able to use those silvers until the Ganon fight. They just will not work until we get to the Ganon fight. So, you know, we're not going to be able to use those against Vitreous or any other bosses that are a lot easier with the silvers, but still, just it's definitely comforting to find those when you can, because, you know, okay, well, at least I'll have a more comfortable Ganon fight now.
And what do we have here? We have a Helmosaur. We can beat this, but this will require a bunch of bombs.
Yes, it will.
Ooh, Furaime wasting one just there.
Ooh, and Helmosaur not cooperating either.
I think one more bomb will do it, but I need to be careful. Yep, there. Okay, good job. Unfortunately, we did not find our last item on Helmosaur, so we are, unless Furaime decides to bail out on Thieves Town, we are not completely done with the items in here.
And we'll see how this fight goes for DT. He does get too dense in the mask, so he's almost there. Ooh, okay, he got it as well.
Very nicely done from both runners.
Yeah, and those bombs were bonking pretty hard off the mask, too, so that can definitely be a lot harder than you think it would be. I know there are a lot of people who kind of first learned that the proper way to fight Helmasaur was with bombs, but, you know, once you kind of get that information that the hammer just, you know, breaks it more consistently, you just want to use that.
Nothing but bombs over at the digging game. Chat pointing out that there's actually a 3-bomb pickup inside of Feast Town. So those 3 bombs were the key to beating Helmasaur just then.
Oh, okay, so that was the dungeon item of Thieves Town. Okay, that's pretty cool. Looks like DT is heading back into Thieves Town to get that last item. If this actually ends up being something important, that could be really, really huge for him at this stage, because, you know, just one item you're kind of leaving behind in a dungeon. You know, one item can spell everything in a seed like this.
Yeah. Hopefully, we do not see a small key. That would mean that there's probably something in that big chest. I think, yeah, if we see a small key and we see the map in the attic chest, then that means we cannot get this last item in here because we need the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 0 out of 10 hype cave. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, that wasn't very thrilling. Okay, so that was the map. Now we do have one more chance, because the small key could be locked behind itself with the way the logic works, so... Is there going to be something at the Maiden's chest? Or where the Maiden would be, anyway. Also looks like DT's taken some damage, so he can Death Warp out of here once he's gotten the item.
Okay, will it be a key or will it be something? It's a key.
Ooh.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
We're gonna get a check of the witch's hut right here with the mushroom turn-in.
Well, we did find powder, so, you know, don't need to use fake powder to activate Magic Bat, so may as well turn it in.
Just a little piece of love. And I'm also Furaime to pick up some potions. Now in hard mode, potions usability is, or I guess, what am I trying to say here? Potions effectiveness is diminished in hard mode. The magic refills will do half your magic, and then the heart refills will do 7 hearts.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, we are now getting our check of Meyer. And we also need Bombos for Meyer. Oh, man.
That feeling when the 2 medallions you have are not going to be useful whatsoever. I guess they could nuke some rooms with them still, but yeah, it's unfortunate.
Depending on how the seed works out, we actually may need Bombos for all 3 dungeons it could be useful for.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, Fire Rod being in Ice Palace or beyond Ice Palace in terms of logic, yeah, that could definitely be a possibility.
Now, Furaime, I wonder if they're forgetting if they have the flippers, because you can get to the East Dark World if you have the flippers.
I don't necessarily think it's that. I think it's just because this will give us like an easier Dark World portal, and we have to do this dungeon anyway at some point. So it's like, you know, if Furaime wants to get the pod, and if you're kind of in the area, you may as well just go ahead and take this dungeon down, just so you have that quick warp to pod, because otherwise you have to go all the way around, which can be quite time-consuming.
Yeah, chat pointing out this could be either just some think time or just like you said, Slim, the easier East Dark World access.
Because yeah, that hammer could be very, very well buried in the seat at this point. So, you know, it just kind of makes sense to make this call.
Korik seeming to give us the nod in chat about this being faster.
Yeah.
Guess we can trust his judgment.
Oh, and we also, you know, get a look at this hint too, so that's also something else we can have.
Hey, that's very useful information.
Yeah, we know we don't have to turn in the green pendant, so there you go. Looks like DT is actually being a bit more thorough with his overworld checks before making an Aga play of some sort. Going to be turning in the purple chest, see what that's going to have.
Okay, I need your guesses, people. How many blue balls are we going to get today?
I'm going to go with 3.
Hey, that's the number I always go with. What gives?
It's almost like it's the most common occurrence in these seats.
Oh! There is our cape! And now we can go get that ice rod anytime we please. Wait to see where if we can find a hint that tells us a unique item a unique item in a chest requiring a specialist to unlock.
Yeah. Because, you know, I believe Furaime did do the blacksmith, right?
Yes, Furaime did do the blacksmith, but they opted not to go ahead and do the purple chest just yet.
And then now there's definitely still a lot of times we can, you know, route that in and work that back into the routing here. So, you know, I wouldn't call like the advantage huge or anything, but I think it's definitely significant. It's intel that DT does have, and he does know that whenever he needs it, he can just go pick up the ice rod, while Furaime could have to still look around for that cave.
And honestly, if I find a fire rod at some point, I might just go ahead and finish up Eastern. Just cause.
Maybe, yeah. There is an item there, as we know, so, you know, that could be something.
Alright, Furaime looking to go ahead and immediately do the catfish check. Alright, and what does this grumpy fish have for us today?
And just a blue rupee. Okay, so it does look like DT is going to put off Aga for right now, going to pick up the Ice Rod, and since he's kind of close to the area anyway, he may just opt across the river because he's kind of closer to where that is. I do kind of like this as an alternative, although I think Aga would definitely be kind of faster for Furaime, based on what he had at that point. You know, DT is making the best of this routing, so I think that he's going to be, you know, in a sense, still making good time with this play too.
Yeah, I don't believe that Furaime checked the lumberjack items, so they're just essentially wasting time a little bit here. But that's not something that they would want to get out of there. Want to get out of there as quickly as possible. So
yeah. So at this point, both runners could be heading into Palace of Darkness around the same time at this point. Or actually, Furaime could be doing Purple Chest right here, just making what DT found irrelevant.
yeah, now that DT is going to check Catfish, it's going to be even more time sink for DT.
Okay, yeah, looks like Furaime is going to be getting the Purple Chest, so Furaime will get Cape, and we'll essentially have the Ice Rod too, since I'm sure he knows where it is.
You may have seen DT go super fast just then. Well, with the boots and the hook shot, you can do something called a hook dash, where you press the Y button and the A button at the exact same time. If you touch a set of staircase, you will suddenly go super fast.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, so with that, Furaime has the cape as well. DT gonna check the pyramid to see what items on here. And yeah, I think he is gonna be heading to Palace of Darkness next.
Yeah, I do believe that this is our only progression option at this point.
Yeah, I think so. So really with this kind of, the difference in this race right now, I'd say, is that Furaime really just has Aga Tower done. And aside from that, they're about equal, I'd say. There's, you know, a few one-offs here and there that the other may not have, but in terms of the mainline progression anyway.
Ooh, is Furaime going to go back into Thieves Town?
Well, if Furaime does, that will kind of put this on equal ground again. But no, I think Furaime is just going to pick up the Ice Rod.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think it definitely makes sense, because if you do find the Fire Rod in a dungeon, and that dungeon happens to be a dungeon with a Trinex in it, then you're covered. So I think it does make sense to get this as soon as you can route it in anyway.
Alright, we see a key in the first chest and pod, which means we were not immediately bow locked. However, that does not matter at this point since both runners have the bow.
Mm-hmm. And there's the big key inside that chest right there.
Could potentially be seeing a hammer yump strat to make routing faster.
Also checking the hint, some cash and Swamp Palace. That's not going to be too helpful.
Yeah. Now, Interesting things about hints. I do believe that in Swamp Palace there are 3 specific hints that could be referring to. The West Wing of Swamp Palace, the Big Chest in Swamp Palace, and Swamp Palace. So I do believe that that means that it's in any other location that isn't the Big Chest or the West Wing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, so DT just got 2 more keys. So I think that means that the vanilla big key location in here could potentially have a non-small key item here.
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, both of our runners are now inside Palace of Darkness, and again, as I explained, like, although it looks like DT does have a lead right now, that is not necessarily true because Furaime has already done Aga Tower, so because of that, DT's a little ahead in this dungeon, but in the overall picture of the seed, Furaime has definitely made more important progress in the long run.
Yep, and here we go with a hammer yump strat on DT's side. Oh, there it is. There's a pixel, and they got it. Yes. Furaime probably forgetting they don't have a key. They're going to be a little disappointed right here.
Yeah, I think DT did the same thing too, although he realized before he went up to the door. Man, we've seen some items in here already. I'm wondering what this progression is going to end up being. There it is. Hi, Fire Up.
Yay! Now we have the ability to beat every boss we encounter.
That's true. We do have that ability now. So yeah, we're covered on pretty much all those boss fronts. Yeah, and as you said, there is going to be an item on the vanilla big key chest location, so we're going to be checking that now before DT leaves.
And if it'd be even all the more sweeter if that was the hammer.
Yeah, oh, that would be really, really nice right about now. Nope, unfortunately just a red rupee.
Okay, so now we are being directed over to Skull Woods.
Well, there is actually another dungeon we can start working on as well. Ice Palace is actually available now too.
Ah, you're right. I completely forgot we already had the mitts and the flippers.
But I think he is going to be going for Skull Woods.
Furaime also successfully pulling off the hammer yump. Of course, as I said before, we still have that Trinex in Eastern Palace that could still potentially be progression now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they're chat asking if they found all the items. They did not. There is one more item left on the boss in Eastern Palace.
Or you mean Palace of Darkness, or do you mean Eastern?
No, someone was asking about the items in Eastern.
Oh, okay. My bad. DT is going to have to be a little careful. He is pretty low on hearts heading into this boss, and if you get a very inconvenient boss in here, that could be problematic.
It is? Oh, blind.
Ooh.
Ugh. Yeah, I'd be using that cane Samaria. Definitely. Oh, good, he has a red potion.
Okay.
Thank goodness. Now, if DT were thinking about it, he probably could have used the cape and just held on to the wall and just stood there while during the, you know, the phase where you can not hurt blind. But it doesn't matter anyway, so.
Yeah. He made it work, and that's all that really matters in the long run.
Now, I believe that means, since we got the compass, I believe that chest in the back of Skull Woods is our last item in here.
Yes, I believe so. Oh wow, looks like Furaime is also going straight to a boss. Going to be checking out the last item in the Eastern Palace. Both putting off that Ice Palace play.
Okay, so that Skullwoods play did not work out for DT, so where's he going to go next?
He's getting health, so I'm wondering if this could be the Ice Palace play.
I just realized something.
Ooh, what did you realize?
We still don't have the hammer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, we could still get some stuff in Ice Palace, but yeah, I can understand making a play on Eastern before.
Yes. And DT looking to go ahead and finish Eastern just to be on the safe side here.
Yeah, I can definitely understand this. And again, there are definitely still some items available in Ice Palace, since the hammer blockade's really only for, I believe, 3 items, but still, like, if you could have gotten it before going into Ice Palace and just save yourself that double dip, you'd probably want to go for that.
Alright, Furaime going to come and kill this Trinex here. Okay, that takes an insane amount of Master Sword slashes to kill either head.
Yeah, that's definitely why they both got potions before coming back here, because, yeah, without hammer, like, you're really just regulated to just that Master Sword.
Alright, Furaime takes out both the fire and the ice head, now just to kill off the main body.
Very nicely done by Furaime. Trinex is down.
It looks like we are heading to Ice Palace.
Yep, it's looking that way now.
Of course, Furaime, having not completed Skull Woods just yet, will be opting to do Skull Woods first, which I can understand, definitely.
Okay, DT gonna have to be a little careful here. He burned a lot of magic. He still has quite a number of hits left. Okay, good. He got it.
I was a little close, but he still needs to be careful because any one hit from Trinex will do it.
Yeah, that's true. And sometimes you're used to fighting Trinex in Trinex's own room, so sometimes just a smaller room can throw you off with Trinex's movements. So you definitely got to be
Oh
careful.
no! That hurts so much.
Yeah, that really does. Because now he's gonna need magic to fight and doesn't have that bottle anymore.
Ooh, that is a lot of time lost for DT right there. Probably about 2 minutes worth.
Yeah, I think you can still beat him with just like one full magic bar, but you know, if you miss one hit, then it's gonna be really, really cutting it close.
Now, I'm sure there's probably better ways to fight Trinex using the Master Sword, like perhaps like charging your Master Sword to do a spin once you release the Fire Rod or Ice Rod shot on them. And then it's even better if you're probably hunkered down towards the wall so you can just bounce and get two essentially tempered sword shots on it. But that's probably not on DT's mind, trying to just basically finish it as well as he can.
And with that, Furaime takes down the line. Gonna get the information that Skull Woods is not the answer either after he gets that chest, so he will have to start thinking about Ice Palace very soon.
Okay, so in terms of things that we could find for progression, we could find Bomba's Medallion. That will open up both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. We could find the Hammer, which will allow us to beat the rest of Ice Palace and beat Palace of Darkness. And we could also find the Mirror, which would open up Desert and Swamp. And also Hera. And the book would just open up Desert Palace. So we got a lot of options for what our progression could be.
Okay, DT did have a blue potion with him too, so does get the ice head down again. He has full hearts. I think he'll be just fine for the rest of this, as Furaime is making the play into Ice Palace.
Yeah, and then we can say with very good certainty that Furaime does have a very good lead at this point.
Yeah, it's a lead based just on the fact that he has Aga Tower completed. Like that alone will be an extra dungeon DT will have to clear over for Furaime right now, even though they're at the same point in the line of progression at this current time.
That's pretty useful. We don't have to worry about Graveyard Ledge anymore.
And I'll expect we'll get the mirror soon, so that's one less location we'll have to check.
Opting used bomb strats in this room. Didn't quite get the last Pengator. Okay, and that also knocks out our magic bat. Wow, so there's 2 one-off locations that we do not have to worry about anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm almost wondering we will get the mirror here, just because it's giving us all these nice little, mirror pieces of information we can use. But we'll see. Okay, so another chest here in Ice Palace. We have the mirror. Furaime trying to wonder what he's supposed to do with this information now.
Yeah, that mirror opens up the most of progression that we could have had open to us at this point. Looks like Furaime did not do the bomb jump, so they're gonna have to do this the normal way.
And so yeah, with that mirror find, we can get into Desert Palace now. We can get in the Tower of Hera. There's some mirror spots we have on the agenda now as well. We can take a few steps in the swamp, but without that hammer, we're not going to get super far into it. So, there definitely are options here. And yeah, I already see chat pointing out that this could be a hammer on pedestal situation. And yeah, that's true. This seed could end up that way.
And now that we have the ability to complete both Desert and Tower of Hera, it could be on the table. Furaime trying to play a bottle to call the duck their way.
Well, you could blow in the bottle and make some, some noise with that. I guess it could work.
I don't know if we saw that hint on Furaime's side, but we can now ignore the left side of Misery Mire.
Yeah, that is actually good. And that could actually give DT some time back if Furaime did not get that hint, too. Oh, no, Furaime saw it as well. Never mind.
Thanks, game. That hint told us stuff that we already knew.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, DT is actually going to be checking out Tower of Hera first.
Looks like Furaime is going to YOLO the boss of Desert Palace to see if the last item is there.
And meanwhile, we're getting our first look into the Tower of Hera and what items we can find in here. There's the hammer!
It's just sitting right there, and it's like, it's so close, but just out of reach. And now I can finally get it.
Man, that is a pretty mean double dip ice situation, though, I have to admit.
Ah, man, double dip ice set. That does really suck. All right, and what are we gonna have as the boss of Desert?
There can be some very interesting boss choices on this Hera platform.
And since
And,
Furaime doesn't have the hammer still, they still have to use bombs on this Helmosaur.
So that'll actually be a little faster for DT when he gets here. Or less resource intensive anyway.
Some bombs is near a water switch, is that what I just saw? That's pretty useless.
Yeah. Even then, that was a pretty fast bomb Helmosaur, though, gotta say.
Looks like the last item of Desert is in the big chest.
It looks like we have a vanilla Moldorm in Tower of Hera, just with the addition of a third eye.
And am I right in saying that the last item of Hera is in the basement?
I am actually not sure. DT is generally pretty thorough, so if there is something in there, he's probably gonna... Oh, I guess he got it.
Either that or they're skipping out on it. Okay, yeah, chat telling us that both items are found.
And with his new hammer, DT is heading back to Palace of Darkness to finish this up. Oh, I guess he didn't get the green pendant hint.
I think that was up the Aga Tower climb, so
Oh, that's right.
Didn't.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was trying to think, which dungeons did they not do? I was like, oh, right, Aga Tower.
Furaime getting the realization that the desert was not quite the right play just then, but that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't exactly lose much by checking Desert. It's a pretty quick clear anyway, so...
And I guess I missed that hint earlier, but it's also another useless one since there are 27 items in Ganon's Tower, and there's bound to be at least one of those being cached.
Yeah, really.
Furaime almost pulling off a really sick spin strat in that hard hat beetle room. Not quite getting the push into the pit.
Pretty nice turtle room there for DT.
Okay, so what are we going to see as the boss of Palace of Darkness? It is an Argus. There's our first Argus.
Mm-hmm. course, since we're still lacking the tempered sword, you need to use 2 swings or 1 spin to get rid of these little puffs.
Ooh, Furaime taking a fall at the three-eyed troll dorm.
And there we go. Argus is down. And we just get the map, so we had all the items in Palace of Darkness. And get another crystal.
So, I believe that Swamp Palace is probably next on these players' minds.
Well, at this point, Furaime may want to swing very quickly back to the Lost Woods, because Furaime does have all 3 pendants, and Bombos is really the only item we're looking for at this point, so that could very well be on the pedestal for all we know.
Now, I'm not sure what Furaime is doing. They do not have the Bombos medallion, so they can't open up Turtle Rock unless they didn't check it. I could have swore that they checked it.
I know DT checked it, but yeah, I guess Furaime didn't. Or they forgot or something. But there is actually another location we can check on Dark Death Mountain now that we have the hammer. The Spike Cave is actually open now.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting Furaime to do as soon as they exited Hera, but they did not, so I was a little confused. Just some bombs and Spike Cave.
And yeah, since Furaime has the mirror now and has actually beaten Aga 1, whenever he saves and quits from the Dark World, he will actually end up on the pyramid now, so does have to consider that. There might be a little bit of extra menuing before needing to save and quit just to save time.
Alright, and as you said, Slim, we are getting ourselves a pedestal check, a blind pedestal pull, if you will.
Yep, no book, so we had no chance to check this earlier, so let's see what we're going to have on the pedestal. Could it be the Bombos medallion that we're still looking for?
And it is a big 20. Ooh, feels bad, man.
Meanwhile, DT gonna finish off the last few rooms of Ice Palace.
I believe Furaime is now going to go check hammer pegs.
Yeah, that's a very good check. We have the hammer now, we have the boost, so we can even do the hammer dash as well. You know, Furaime spends more time on these overworld checks, and DT just focuses on dungeons and finds the Bombos medallion first. That could give him some time back, so we'll have to see how that plays out.
Okay, nothing in there. I don't know. Okay, no, they're floating away. I thought they may have not had the powder hint, but they must have, so they're not checking it.
Okay, looks like Furaime is going to be finishing up Ice Palace as well. And we have another Argus. Argus on ice. Except there's no ice, but it's a cold room.
Argus on ice, but with no ice. Sure. Oh, wait. Hey, here I got a better one. Argus on ice, no ice, but with eyes.
Okay, that works.
So that makes 2 Arguses, 2 Helmosaurs, 1 Trolldorm, 1 Trinex. Am I missing anything?
That we saw a blind as well in
Yes.
Thieves Town.
Yeah. Okay.
Or not Thieves Town, Skullwoods.
Yes. Am I missing anything?
Ooh, well, we found a book. No, I think that's everything.
Two Argus, 2 Argai. Sorry, chat. Yeah, I need to be more correct on my grammar. 2 Helmosaurs, 1 Trolldorm, 1 Trinex, 1 Blind.
And that's,
There's one
yeah.
that I'm forgetting.
No, we have them all.
Oh, that's right. We haven't done Swamp. That was it. I was counting. I thought I counted 8, but we haven't done Swamp yet. So there we go.
Right. Okay, so it looks like DT is checking out the mire area next. We'll probably also take a trip in the desert as well. Unfortunately, we know he's not going to find what we're looking for from these checks because Furaime's already done them. Very quickly answer a question in chat. Yes, when it comes to Aghanim and Ganon, they are not shuffled, and you will always find them in their vanilla rooms. Haven't quite figured out how to shuffle those into the randomization yet. Plus, Ganon would be really hard to do that with, since you have to actually have a crumbling floor in place.
I think the logic might be such that they still need, for some things like swordless seeds, you still would need a hammer or a bug net to, you know,
Right.
get stuff against Aghanim. And it would make sense, honestly, because if you're losing, I don't know if you might be losing the sense of the game by taking out Aghanim. I don't know, it's just me.
That's a fair point, honestly.
Chat mentioning that Agad requires a sword and swordless. Yes, that does. Yes, that could be one of the requirements, but the main reason we need a sword in non-swordless seeds is to cut the curtains right before Aghanim 1.
Right. I did see someone in chat wondering why, they're kind of doing all these other checks when Swamp is on the table and there's 6 potential items you can find in Swamp. The thing is, with Swamp Palace, that's a dungeon you generally want to actually approach when you're in go mode, because you don't have to check any items. It's a very, very quick clear, and if you try to full clear it and end up not getting anything, there's a lot of items in there, and you have to go through quite a bit of it, and can be kind of long, so runners tend to try to avoid that if they can, which is understandable why they're kind of going for all these other checks as well.
Alright, I saw Furaime doing the hookshot strat where you hold out your sword and it's basically you're pulling the eyes into the sword and you leave the sword out. Do you know how that works exactly?
I mean, it's... I don't really know how it works, but just looking at it, you can kind of just see how it would work, because it does act like you're just pulling them into the sword. I don't think there's really much to explain there.
I think it requires the boots, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, but I think with all that we have done, we just have, looks like DT may be going to pull the pestle himself.
Yeah.
I think all we have left is, we have 2 tablets and Swamp Palace left.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, it looks like Furaime just checked K45, so yeah, that's literally all we have left at this point. Because we're not going to be able to get in the Pyramid Fairy without that crystal from Misery Mire. So we know Bombos is not going to end up being there, and we obviously can't get in the Turtle Rock or Misery Mire right now. So yeah, Swamp is more than likely the place we're going to need to go.
Yeah, and I guess it looks like that Bombos will be our go mode in this case.
Yeah. One thing that would be nice to find would be, obviously, the last sword upgrade, and, you know, that could very well be in here or on the way in Ganon's Tower. But I'm definitely confident that both runners are fine with just Master Sword if it came down to it.
Okay, looks like DT is heading straight into Swamp, while Furaime took the detour to check the Bombos tablet right before coming into Swamp.
And yeah, Furaime is not doing pod until he's in go mode, because he knows that Helmasaur is just going to end up having a map anyway. The only reason DT did it early is he didn't have the green pendant information, so he turned in green pendant, and since he was in the area, he decided to go ahead and clear out Palace of Darkness while he was there, so it made a little more sense for him to clear it at that point.
And I don't know if you saw that, but that is a very convenient hint.
Yes, that was a very convenient.
Also, we have a sound glitch on Furaime's side. Oh, never mind, it's back. I guess the bomb explosion fixes it.
Yeah, it generally does. But yeah, we get to skip that left side, so that's really, really nice.
Oh no, it looks like the audio just switched over to DT's side, so I guess we're just gonna be hearing DT's music now for a while.
Man, we are very, very close to a sync right here.
And of course, and they may look in sync right now, but they each have completed a dungeon that the other runner has not completed right now.
Yeah, and I'd say at this point, getting through just a little bit of Palace of Darkness is going to be faster than Aga Tower, so, you know, I think Furaime just has a small bit of a lead, but it is really, really close right now.
And
there it is.
that literally was go mode at the exact same time for both runners. So that's basically about an hour and a half into this race, we have achieved go mode for both runners.
Yeah, that is very, very funny.
At this point, it all comes down to execution and possibly routing in GT and also maybe finding where a third sword might be. And so add another Troll Dorm to the list of bosses we have seen. Was that also a three-eyed Troll Dorm?
They're all the same number of eyes, I'm pretty sure. In the same seed, anyway. And again, remember, chat, it's not as simple as DT being ahead of Palace of Darkness. Furaime has completed Agate Tower, which DT will need to do at some point as well. So, you know, it's not as simple as just one person being one dungeon ahead. They have the same number of dungeons completed. It just, you know, the difference between Agate Tower and the difference between just going to the boss of Pod is really the main thing here.
DT messing up the quick kill strat for the first room in Mire. So far, both runners opting to choose the same routing at the start of the dungeon. We find a other cane that's not super useful in hard mode.
And with that, I believe we have knowledge of both items in here, since we did get a hint early on about the western side of Misery Mire. So both runners, if they got that hint, they're not going to be checking that left side.
Okay, Furaime definitely got the hint. They're going back to the right. And DT
Yeah.
also got the hint.
And there is the big key, so we are off to the boss now.
Even after all that, we are still really close together in terms of synchronization.
Yeah, for sure. And we have the sync because Furaime went to go get that potion, or the magic pot under the pot.
Things are all working out for the synchronization. Oh, we must have missed the stun drop being a full magic refill. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think I saw DT actually using that earlier in the Eastern Palace when he was trying to get magic for Trinex on round 2.
One thing that will make this spooky, make this Meyer go quicker for Furaime is a spooky action glitch we just saw.
Yeah, definitely making good use of that. Relatively new piece of tech that was, kind of first used, I believe, in the spring tournaments. It's kind of when it was discovered, and definitely the high execution runners have started incorporating that even in randomizer runs, and it's been very, very efficient. But we have an Armos Knight fight on Vitreous's boss arena. Not too bad.
Now this could be an issue. Of course, the runners could go buy arrows any time. It's just a kind of an inconvenience. Now they're having to use all these arrows right now.
So here we're going to see the routes kind of diverge a little bit. Furaime going to finish off Palace of Darkness, while DT, since he already has that done, he's going to be heading straight to Turtle Rock. So he is going to have a bit of a head start over Furaime, but again, we have to keep remembering that he also has Aga Tower to do after he finishes Ganon's Tower, so we'll have to see how these two routes kind of converge again later on.
We have a second right here. We can go on and tell all you lovely folks to follow the runners, both DT and Furaime. You can follow them at twitch.tv/inthenameofDT and twitch.tv/Furaime. Give these runners some love.
Yeah, they are putting on quite the show today, and we've seen all that syncing that was going on in Misery Mire, both very, very high-level runners of the randomizer. So they've been competing in these tournaments for a while now, and they've always put on a really great show, so they would definitely appreciate it. Well, there's the big key of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, with that, we are forced to check the fire rod lock side of Turtle Rock to get our get at least one small key to progress further into Turtle Rock. Okay, with that just being one small key, we'll see a small key in the Chain Chomp room coming up. Ooh, Furaime pulling off the perfect Master Sword Fire Rod strat against Argus just then. Very nice to see.
Yeah, really, really well executed on his behalf.
Nice Samaria block punt there by DT. Okay, right here, you probably will see DT steal this key from the Bokoba.
Yeah, he already has the big key, so he has no reason to check the big key chest. Also manages to anti-fairy, or to powder all 4 of the anti-fairies to get 4 hearts. Unlike normal mode, where you would get a fairy from doing that, you only get single hearts in hard mode, but still, that's 4 hearts right there, and definitely not bad to have health in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Turtle Rock has a bunch of enemies that do a lot of damage to you, even with Blue Mail.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like DT is opting to take the safer strat, and by checking both the big chest and so I guess basically just the big chest.
Yeah.
Try and avoid screwing himself over for not getting a key.
And hey, that was a good check. He does get the another small key, so...
And it looks like DT is going to skip the rest of the chest here in Turtle Rock because they already have enough small keys to skip that chest and Laser Bridge.
The only question is, could that last sword upgrade be on Laser Bridge?
Guess we might not know unless Furaime checks it. DT, yeah, doing a little bit of muscle memory there, trying to pull the ice rod when we don't actually know what the boss here is.
Oh.
Hey, but actually it would have worked out anyway.
Yeah. Now, since we do have the hammer, we can get slightly better damage output on Trinex, although we do have to get pretty close with that hammer hitbox. Okay, makes it through phase 1. And Trinex is down, so that's 2 Trinexes we've had now.
Alright, and with that, we have 7 crystals now, and we're about to enter Ganon's Tower. Do you want to explain to the chat what we have going on?
Sure, I think I can do that. So we have 22 chests inside Ganon's Tower. Any of those 22 locations could have the big key to Ganon's Tower. So in the chat, if you want to guess what numbered location you think that big key is going to be, we will keep track of that. And if you've also subscribed to any of the Speed Gaming channels or donated up to 250 bits to any of the channels, you have a chance to be added to the leaderboard that we kind of keep for going for fun. It's all for fun, really, so don't have to subscribe to be a part of this. You can guess no matter what, and we'll see where that big key location is going to end up being.
What number do you typically guess?
I typically go for number 8.
Alright, we will now close the guessing game. Okay, so we got a small key in these first two chests, but DT is opting not to check the right side first.
Could be an interesting play if Furaime decides to go for that. So we'll see what happens.
Alright, so 3 was a 300 rupees, and here was 4 through 7. A blue rupee is number 4. 100 rupees number 5. Blue rupee number 6. And the map number 7. We have to continue further.
And number 8, we have the big key.
Oh, good job there, Slim.
Thank you. I wish I would have put my guess down in the chat.
And now Furaime has just taken down Trinex. DT running a little low on arrows. Thankfully kills all the mimics in these first 2 rooms.
So we'll have to see what Furaime decides to do when they enter Ganon's tower. Again, that right side would be available, so that could be an interesting play. There could even be a sword over on that side.
Yeah, a right side play versus a left side play could be the difference maker here. Because we still need Aga Tower to be done for DT. And if Furaime decides to go full right or just a partial right, then that could make up a lot of time for DT as he's climbing Aghanim's tower.
Oh, Furaime is going to the right side.
We have ourselves a race.
Okay, what do we have here on the right side? We have some rupees, the tempered sword, and a bug net. I think Furaime's just grabbing the key here. Yep, okay, so Furaime is going to go only a partial right. So he will still get the big key pretty early.
But that tempered sword will make fighting Ganon a lot easier for Furaime and that will help Furaime a lot more if DT does not find a tempered sword up here in the climb.
Yeah, that is also something to point out. Even though both of our runners will only get a max of the tempered sword, all 4 swords are still placed in the item pool. It's just once you have the tempered sword, whatever remaining swords will turn into rupees at that point. So, you know, it is still possible we can find one up here.
Something cool, but not quite what we want, is a free blue potion in that right chest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there was a small key up here, too. And another three-eyed Moldorm.
So that means we...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that means we had vanilla Ganon's Tower second and third bosses.
That is interesting. I was just gonna say we had one Moldorm for each eye.
That is also true.
No, I guess there could have been one on the bottom of Ganon's Tower, because there is another boss in Ganon's Tower, but since we found the big key early, we'll not have to actually take a look at that. But, yeah, here we go. In the name of DT, taking on Aga 2.
Was that a triple or is that a double? I will not tell very easily.
I want to say that was only a double, because I didn't see him move again. Ooh, unfortunately, pattern's just a little out of sync.
Okay, so that would have been a triple, but only needed a double to finish off Aga 2. So now all DT has left is to finish up Aga Tower, and they can just do that by bonking on the top of the pyramid and mirroring, and they'll be right in front of that bat barrier.
Yeah. So yeah, at this point, it's, you know, obviously the sword difference is going to be a pretty huge advantage for Furaime getting through the Ganon fights. But as far as, like, getting to Ganon, it's, you know, half of Ganon's Tower, which is probably even less than half now, and Aga Tower for DT. Like, at this point, I think they're both going to definitely be in the Ganon fight at the same time.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's definitely going to be happening. I think Furaime will enter the Ganon fight first.
Yeah.
But maybe not by too much.
But then that's when the sword advantage is going to come into play, and we'll just kind of pull further ahead at that point.
Furaime not going to be picking up that free blue potion. Probably won't be needing it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure once that Tempered was found, Furaime definitely felt confident enough to get through the rest of this just fine.
Okay, Furaime about to enter Aga 2, and DT about to enter Aga 1. So different iterations of Aghanim, but about to approach the same ending point at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to say Aga 2 is generally faster than Aga 1, plus you have this little cutscene in Aga 1 as well, so Furaime should be definitely entering the Ganon fight first at this point.
So Furaime starts off with 2 doubles. Okay, Furaime is about to face off with the big pig himself, Ganon. So entering in about 155.
And AGA 1 goes down for DT as Furaime enters the... Oh no, he's still in the second phase. In phase 3 now, though, I imagine. But yeah, you can already see the difference here between the two runners and the strats they have to use, because DT only has Master Sword, has to rely on spin attacks here to damage Ganon, while Furaime could just strike outright, so this will take a bit more time for DT to get through to the third phase.
Ooh, this could be a triple. Oh, not quite. But with that, Furaime has just destroyed Ganon, and they will be the winner of this set between themselves and DT. Furaime is your winner today, and the winner of the set will be moving on to the next round in the tournament.
And Furaime will finish with a time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds. DT, unfortunately, just a little bit behind here, but will definitely get his run finished up here as well, as he is already on the third phase.
I think this might be the last one for DT, and that will do it. DT is your second place finisher with the time of 1:58.18. GG's to DT.
And yeah, with his SRL time, 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 18 seconds. They're literally just a minute and a half difference here, and there's a couple of different things that kind of attributed to that. Really, just the walk back to Trinex and Eastern Palace was a big part of that difference. That fight could have gone either way, and that could have actually been the difference right there. But yeah, with that finish, Furaime will be moving on in the tournament into the round of 8. And for the next round, Furaime will be facing the winner of the Andy versus Boyne series, which is still currently going on, I believe. In fact, Game 2 of that is actually going to happen tonight at 9:30 p.m. So if you guys want to check that out and see who Furaime could be potentially facing in the next round, definitely come back and look at that series. I believe Andy is currently up 1 game. So that can, that can go either way. It could be a Game 3 even, for all we know. So yeah, unfortunately, I guess we're not going to be getting an interview from either runner, which is perfectly fine and perfectly acceptable. Definitely want to get my GGs out there for both Furaime and In the Name of DT for putting on an amazing race. It was very, very close, especially in an all dungeons seed being this close. You got to go through a lot, and it's cool to see it, basically this close in the very end of it all.
Yeah, that was it looked very close from start to finish, but I think that Trinex's death was the what put the nail in DT's coffin there, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was the Trinex death, also going back in to see if he could find the last item of Thieves Town, also kind of, definitely took away some time, but he did gain a lot of that time back once he got the hammer, really just kind of focused on dungeons, didn't go back for any overworld stuff, and was able to just kind of focus in on, all the important dungeons and everything. And, essentially got kind of in that, I guess, even though they had go mode at the same exact time, was kind of in more of a go mode state because he was just focusing on dungeons at that point. So definitely brought back a lot of that time and definitely gave it a really good effort, especially considering what happened in that game one. So definitely kudos to him for putting in the work and making it a really close race, because we had two really skilled runners here. Honestly, I think this could have gone either way.
No, for sure, yeah.
Okay, so before we start wrapping things up here, I guess I'll very quickly just glance at the schedule and see what we have coming up here for tonight. At 5:30 p.m., which is about 3 hours from now, Korek and Dracaries will be fighting in their matchup. That's going to be on Speed Gaming 4. And as far as mode, looks like we have an all dungeons standard Uncle Assured normal mode Key Sanity on the table. And for the Andy versus Blaine Game 2, that's going to be again at 9:30 p.m., which is about 7 hours from now. Start time could vary because apparently Andy has a Super Metroid 3 combo, or Super Metroid Zelda 3 combo randomizer race as well, but that will be happening tonight on Speed Gaming 2. Looks like it's going to be a Defeat Ganon standard Uncle Assured normal mode with no extra variation. So still got some races tonight, so come back if you want to check out more of the randomizer action, because we are getting to that point where we're coming down to the final matches of the tournament, so it'll be very exciting to see how those play out.
Yeah, I unfortunately will not be able to catch those matches, so I'm looking forward to watching them later if I have the chance to.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, while we're waiting for the credits to kind of finish off for Furaime here, I want to give a big thank you to both of our runners for putting on this show today. A very entertaining race. Can't stress that any more than I already have. Also want to give a big thank you to Phantom Black Ice for taking care of the tracking behind the scenes. It's always good to have those trackers just in case we miss something very important or something that's is definitely worth taking notice of. So it's good to have one extra pair of eyes in the commentary booth. And of course, big thank you to my co-com partner, Relkin. It was a joy to commentate with you. Thank you for kind of taking over things at the very beginning when my connection was a little unstable. So thank you for joining me on this one.
Yeah, no problem. Good to do some commentary with you. This was a fun time.
Yeah, it really was. And as we see the finish times, yeah, literally just about a minute and a half difference. So yeah, really, really nice race from the two of them. But yeah, with that, let's go ahead and sign off. This has been some Kirby. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you for more Randomizer later today and for the rest of the tournament. And talk to you guys next time.
I've been Relkin, and I will see you guys later.